Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. My name is Melissa Joyce and thank you so much for joining me today. Today, and in this video, maybe not just today, I'll get to that in a second, I'm going to be reviewing, swatching, and showing you looks from the Soiree Diaries from Pure Cosmetics. If you, like me, are subscribed to BoxyCharm, then you would have received this in your September BoxyCharm subscription. It's always fun, in my opinion, getting palettes. It really is one of the more exciting items to receive. And we are going to get into talking actually not about Pure as a company. I usually talk a little bit about a company, but because I have done a Pure lip product review and I have done a Pure false lashes review, I will link those in the description bar down below. So if you're curious more about the company, you can go and watch those. I am going to talk a bit about this product. I am then going to do swatches and I am going to do 3 different looks. I will put timestamps down below so you can skip forward and back into whatever part you want to watch. You will notice in this video that I am going to have some costume changes because I really wanted to test this out over a length of time and not just kind of put on looks and wash them off. I have been playing around and doing looks with this over a number of days. So you will see this outfit make an appearance later, a different outfit in between. Just if it looks a little cut up, it's because I wanted to sort of give you my impressions as I was using the palette. That is, I think, all I have to say for now about the video. So let's start talking about this palette. On Pure's website, this is described as a perfect mix of neutral, copper, and bronze shadows. There are 4 matte, 4 satin, and 4 shimmer shades in here. They don't talk a huge amount about it, but they do say that you can use this palette basically in vertical rows so that these colors are done in a way to create cohesive looks. And they actually specifically tell you how to make those looks. They talk about using this color down here as the all over your lid and up to your brow bone shade. This row here, which is like the bottom row, but I'm trying not to get the mirror too much in the shot, is all of the shimmer shades. So they talk about putting that on your lid. And then these middle shades here, which are, I think, these are the matte ones. I have a really hard time telling which are supposed to be the mattes and which are the satins. This is basically going to be your crease shade. So they kind of try to take the guesswork out of this, perhaps for people who are very new to this, but this is really going to be a very neutral palette. This is part of what they call their Diaries collection, so I do get the feeling there's going to be more Diaries palettes later. There is a Contour Diaries contour palette, and I'm now getting to the point of saying the word diaries where it's sounding not like a real word to me anymore. So I do think there may be more palettes in the future that are not necessarily neutral, but are part of the Diaries collection. This is going to be $34 in US dollars, and this is cruelty-free, paraben-free, vegan, as far as I could tell, gluten-free, BPA-free, and if you look at the ingredients in these shadows, mica is the first ingredient. I am in no way an expert on eyeshadow formulations, but I do understand that mica is more of a pure pigment, and when you get that, it may be that the shadow is better formulated or higher quality than one where you get talc as a main or first ingredient, which tends to be a little bit more of a filler. Not 100% on that, but that's what I understand. That is everything I have to say about this. I have not tried any Pure shadows before, so I was really excited to get this and try it out. I have watched people using, specifically the Tala, using the Trolls one and the My Little Pony one, and I'll also link to my anti-haul below in which I reference the My Little Pony collection from Pure. But for now, let's get into looking at the swatches of this palette. Private Party, Socialite, Gala, Mogul, Splurge, Stunner, snazzy, epic, glitzy, twinkle, dazzle, Cosmo. Now that the swatches are done, we're going to go into 3 looks that I was able to do with this palette. So this first look I'm going to do is actually a first impression. I have not used this palette at all yet, but what I'm going to do is do a very simple look first and then wear this through the day so that I can tell you how it lasts, everything like that, and also just sort of get a first impression on camera of what I think of this palette. So they do say, as I talked about previously, that you can kind of use the rose this way and do a look. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I think I'm going to go for this, this row here, which is sort of a little more pinky, just because it doesn't get as deep as some of the other colors do. And I feel like that's going to be a little bit better for me for work, for going through my day. So let me get you zoomed in and then we will start putting makeup on my eyes. I tried to do a very neutral look for the rest of my face so that I could sort of go with whatever was going on here. So I'm going to start by going with a big fluffy brush into Socialite, which is the lightest color. And I'm going to fluff that all over my eyes from my lid up to my brow because that is what it tells me to do. And you know, it's a light color and my skin is light. There's definitely some pigment there. That would actually be a really nice transition color, which I guess is what it is. Okay, that's looking nice. Now what they tell you to do is to use the color down here, which is more of the shimmer color, on your lid, and then use the middle color, which is also a matte, in your crease. So I'm gonna stick to that as well as I can while also kind of doing my own thing at the same time. So this color is called Twinkle, and it seems a little weird to be doing this part before I do, oh, that's really pretty, before I do my crease, but hey, that's what they say. You know what, I feel like this is a color that'd be better applied with my finger. Yeah, it's a pretty, really pretty shimmer color. And I'll just put that all over my lid and on the other side as well. It's gonna be a bit of a glamorous look today, but that's okay. The directions now say to go in with the middle color, which is the deepest one, which here is Stunner, and use that in the crease. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm just picking it up with a slightly more tapered blending brush and see if I can blend between those colors. Doesn't say to use it down there, but I feel like it could use it. I feel like that went a little more out of control than I meant for it to. This is not a work look. I feel like I need to blend upwards a little bit here so that the look doesn't look too pulled down, so I'm just going to do that. These do blend really easily, and you know, a little bit goes a long way. This is a lot and not my usual look, and not at all the easy daytime look I thought I was going for. I'm going to use, I actually don't find there's a really good shimmery highlight shade in here. I'm gonna put on some mascara. I'm gonna clean up a little bit of this with some concealer, and then I'm going to be back to show you the final look. I am back. This is something much more glam than I initially started out to do, but I don't mind it. I had to change the lip color up a little bit just because it was pulling so orange and brown and the lips didn't look right being pink. So this is not actually a going to work kind of look. I'm probably going to tone this down. I am going to tone this down a little bit before I go. But those blended really, really nicely. And I'll just zoom you out to give you the full effect. So this is palette look number 1. Hey guys, so for look number 2, I'm going to really play in these matte shades that are in the top and second row. This time I really am going to go for something that for me is much more wearable not that the other look isn't wearable, but this is more of a like going to work, underplayed in an environment that is not a high makeup, high glam kind of environment. I did everything else on my face, again, quite neutral so that I could play around with this. Let me get you zoomed in and then we will get the look together. Now, because I did prime my eyes and I want to make sure that there's nothing too sticky or grabby left on there, I'm going to go in with over here Private Party, because that seems like a nice neutral shade. There is, I'm just going to show you here, there is fallout on here. Oh, you're not going to be able to see that. Like it's a manageable amount, but it does kind of get over the rest of the palette. As expected, you can't really see that shade, but that wasn't what I was going for. I just wanted to even everything out and give the other colors something to blend on top of. I'm going to go in next with Gala, which is this one right here, and I'm going to use that as my transition crease shade. So I'll just load up the brush with that one and fluff in. I guess fluff isn't really a verb. Okay, that's very subtle on me, but that's what I want. So now that I have a bit of definition, I think I'm going to go in with Splurge, which is this one right here, a little bit lower and deepen up the crease a little bit more. This one doesn't seem to have as much fallout. Now we've really started to define things and give my eyes more shape, and I'm just kind of using what's left on the brush to go up towards my brow, because I have a tendency to keep things down lower. I have to kind of force myself to bring it up higher, which opens up my eyes a bit more. Now from there, I mean, we don't have a light shimmer shade, which is really what I'm looking for in this palette. I'm going to touch into Epic, which is this dark one on the end here, which is still a matte. Just touch in a little bit. I'm still using the same fluffy brush because this is really how I would, oh, see, that is nicely putting color down. This is how I would do my shadows just to go to work. That one's looking a little patchy, and I feel like this isn't the best brush for it. Sorry, I interrupted myself there. I was saying this is how I do my shadows for work, is I tend to not switch between a lot of brushes. I mean, I don't have time for that in the morning. I tend to sort of use a blending brush and kind of do a very simple look. That one is a little patchier than I would like. It doesn't blend quite as nicely as the other ones. It seems like you have to be a little more careful where you lay it down because it grabs on a bit more. So this is usually where I would go in with some kind of shimmer color in the inner corner of my eye, but I don't really have that. So I'm going to use just my finger into Mogul here. It's sort of a matte light color. And I'm going to do that in the inner part of my eye just to brighten everything up a little bit. That is a very neutral, natural look. I'm going to put on, I think, a bit of liner with this because I need a little bit more drama, and then some mascara, and I'll be back to show you the final look. So that is with a little bit of liner and just some mascara on my top lashes. And this is the final look. Okay guys, I am off to work, and I will be back to show you look number 3 in a little while in my time, but in your time it will be right now. Hey guys, I am back for the last look, and this one I'm really going to play around with. I want to try doing more of a cut crease, something with some of the other shimmers in there, and something really blended. So let's get zoomed in and we will start working on this look. So once again, I'm going to start by fluffing Mogul all over my lids, again, because I did prime them and I want to make sure that things blend nicely on top of the primer that I put down. And I'm really going to build up the crease this time. So I'm going to go in with this second shade here, which is Gala. I'm gonna try to stay away from anything too pink or orange toned and really sort of play in the crease more in the neutral brown shades. And the brush I'm using here is a very fluffy rounded brush because I really want to get this really widely dispersed and blended above my crease, really is where I'm putting that. And so you can see that's going up, like the only space that I'm leaving is just right under the eyebrow after my arch. I'm then going to go into the shade Splurge here with the same fluffy brush, but not sort of get quite as much on it, and I'm going to also blend in my crease but slightly down from where I was before. But I'm still going to pull it all the way to the inner corner and back. So that starts to deepen it up and define it even more. Next I'm going to go into this quite deep shade here called Snazzy, and that one I'm really just, oh, that one has a fair bit of kickback. I'm just touching into that one because I just want to use it to deepen just a little bit more. So what I've done is really define the crease, really sort of blend it up and built it up so it's a bit of a gradient going from the deepest color in the crease up to my brow bone. Now the most difficult part of this is going to be that I'm going into a concealer. In my case I'm using Erase Paste from Benefit with a very fine, this is actually an eyeliner brush, and I am going to sort of cut out the crease from the inside corner of my eye. What I'm going to attempt to do here is cut the crease in such a way that when my eyes are open, you can see the cut crease, which for me is quite high because of how hooded my eyes are. For me as well, because I have that, what I understand is called epithelial fold, I can sort of start from inside that and go up and around. And then I'm just bringing the concealer down to give myself sort of a clean palette to put a shimmer shade on top of. And that's doing it on the easier eye. Now I get to try to do it on the more difficult eye. There we go. Is it perfectly even? Not at all, but we do the best with the tools and talent that we have. So I was trying to decide which shimmer color to use, and while I do think that this one here, Dazzle, is beautiful, I'm thinking of going in with Glitzy, which is more of a copper, but I think I'll stick with Dazzle because copper is a little bit of my comfort zone and I want to try to do something different. I am going to do a little bit of this with a brush just so I can keep that line crisp, but I'm probably going to tap on a bit more with my finger over top of it afterwards. You know what? I'm changing my mind. Dazzle doesn't seem to have the impact that I want it to. I am going to go with Glitzy, which was my first thought. Yeah, there we go. That has more of an impact. That ended up coming out much more dark and dramatic than I expected. I think the very last thing I'm going to do is go into this dark shade here, Snazzy, and tap that a little bit just on the outer corner of my eye to deepen it up. And just give a little bit of contrast. And blend, blend, blend. But just on the outer part because I want the cut crease to stay sharp. I think I'm also just going to drag a little bit of that color Splurge down under my eyes. My looks with this palette end up getting a lot smokier and vampier than I initially mean for them to be. I'm going to roll with that. I'm going to go put on some smoky eyeliner, so to do my waterline with some dark colors. I'm going to put on some mascara and I'll be right back to show you the final look. So this is the final look. I added some black eyeliner to my lower lash line, to the waterline to sort of really give it a dark look. And because it was kind of going in that dark, dramatic editorial direction, I put on some black because the blue wasn't really going the right way and did a very nude gray undertone, almost lip, to really give it more of a dramatic look. And it's not my usual, but I quite like it. And let me just zoom you in to show you the eyes. So my final thought on this palette, or thoughts on this palette, is that I give this a big thumbs up. I have had so much fun playing with this palette and I just want to keep playing with it. My first thought when I saw this palette is like, oh, it's a neutral palette. It's browns and, you know, light colored tones and a little bit of copper and stuff. And I didn't think it was going to be that much fun to play with, but I have had these looks come out so like dramatic and smoky and just not the usual kind of looks I would go for. It pulls me in a totally different direction, and that is just so much fun. I do think there is one thing missing from here. I would love it if there was one light shimmer shade. The kind of thing you could use as an inner corner highlight, but also the kind of thing when I was doing a cut crease like this, instead of having it dark and smoky, that it could be quite bright on the inner corner of my eye. I find that's missing here because I do find these 4 shimmer shades, even though these 2 look lighter, to be on the darker side, at least on my skin tone. So that's the one thing that this is missing. But when I do these eyeshadow palette reviews, I make sure that I only use the shadows from these palettes because I want to show you what you can do with just this palette. I have a lot of those other shades in highlighters, in other eyeshadows, so I could combine this quite easily with some other things that I have. It just means that it's not quite a grab and go, everything you need in one palette, at least for me. But they are so good. I mean, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 shades, they are blendable. They have a good level of color that they deposit, but still blend out quite easily. Yes, there is fallout with them, but I feel like fallout is the trade-off with having a little bit of a lot of pigment just from dipping your brush in. I do find that if you make something really smooth and blendable, oftentimes you're going to get more of that fallout, and I'm okay with that. It just makes me want to try more pure eyeshadows because I'm really enjoying the formula of these. And as much as I poo-pooed in my anti-haul the My Little Pony one, and I still don't think I'm getting that one, I do want to try more pure eyeshadow palettes. And I think this is going to be so much fun to combine with other palettes. I also think that I'm so excited to use other color combinations in here. And this is really a palette where there's nothing out in left field. So oftentimes you'll see a neutral or a warm palette, and then there's 1 or 2 colors in there that come out of nowhere. Any combination of these you use is going to work well together, and I appreciate that. I am curious if you have tried other pure eyeshadow palettes, or if you also received this one in your BoxyCharm, what you think of it. Leave the comments down below. I do respond to every comment that I get. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you like having these eyeshadow palette reviews with 3 looks and with the swatches in it, let me know. I love seeing those thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed to my channel, I do about 3 reviews a week. You can click on my face. I will make it appear right here. And if you want to watch one of my other reviews, I will make one of those appear right here so that you can go click on it, spend some more time with me, and watch one of my other reviews. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!